For thousands of years, the issue of women losing their husbands to other women has been a long societal conflict. And for so many years, a woman who was giving her all to a man after bearing him children suddenly loses this man to another woman. This situation often leads to loss of lives, pain, heartbreak, and suicide in severe cases. On today's episode of MIMINEL'S Diary, we're going to talk about principles of marriage, bringing out the realities and perception of the topic. Don't forget, the slogan of the show remains realities and perceptions. What I think, what you think, the reality of what is, and the way forward. See you after the break. Welcome back to today's episode of MIMINEL'S Diary, Realities and Perceptions. Our topic for today is Principles of Marriage. Operation Women Revive Your Marriage. If you're just joining in, you're welcome. You haven't missed a thing. And don't forget, our slogan for the show has always been Realities and Perceptions. What I think, what you think, the reality of what is, and the way forward. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is marriage? Marriage is simply the act of being in a legal relationship as a husband and a wife. Principles, on the other hand, simply refers to lay down rules, formulae, or settings of life occurrences. Principles define the difference between good and evil, right and wrong, prosperity and poverty, failure and success, amongst other things. Now, every result an individual requires or desires can be possible if he applies the right principles. For every positive result, there has to be a well-calculated application of principles. It is said in physics that an object is usually at rest unless a force is being applied to it. This goes to confirm the truth that for every positive result in life is as a result of a well-calculated strategy. So if a free woman, for the purpose of this show, we shall refer to as the other woman. So if the other woman is parading herself with the husband of the married woman, it is simply because she has applied the principles which the married woman failed to apply in her marriage. It is one thing for a woman to get married, and it's another thing for a woman to keep her husband to herself. Every positive result in life is governed by principles, and that includes a successful marriage. Many women are unaware or ignorant of the principles that govern a healthy marital relationship, and for years this ignorance has imprisoned these women in joyless marriages and loneliness. While on the other hand, the other women are busy enjoying their husbands and living life at large with these men, and for so long applied the principles which the married women have failed to apply in their marriages. The solution, however, is not to burst into tears or suicide. Suicide is not even an option, but a rediscovery of these principles that the other women have used for so long to keep our husbands to themselves. Now, what we must bear in mind is the fact that a man will not leave his wife to another woman if his wife is providing what he is in search for outside. So, we have to understand these principles to better understand our husband's needs and revive our marriage. I'm not seated here to justify why most men cheat. I'm here to provide key knowledge and serve useful insights women can use to revive their marriages. Because if a woman is able to bring home what her husband is looking for outside, she has just succeeded to put an end to his search. I want us to understand that for a man to leave a woman for another woman who is not an angel per se, it is no longer a personality problem but a principle problem. We have seen so many educated, rich and decent women lose their husbands to free women or less educated women, less beautiful women in most cases. We have seen women who are the bosses of the house lose their husbands to maids per se. So on this episode of the show, we're going to rediscover these principles that married women have for so long ignored and have become so ignorant of. I believe and I'm hoping that these principles become useful to us, and Operation Revive Your Marriage is going to be a success. Remember, even the Bible says in Proverbs 14 verse 1 that a wise woman builds her home while the foolish one tears hers down with her hands. These principles include 1. The value concept. What a man doesn't value will be taken away from him and given to someone who can cherish it. What a man cannot value, he is unable to keep that thing. Even the Bible says in Isaiah 4 verse 1 that a day shall come when 7 women shall cling unto one man and say unto him, let us eat our own food and provide our own clothes. Only let us be called by thy name, take away our disgrace. By this quotation, it simply refers to the fact that a day will come when 7 women shall cling unto one man, begging to be addressed by his name. And without doubt, I bet you the time and day has finally come. To every single man, there are 7 other women looking for vacancy. Now this places a married woman in a position where she should not use her marriage to a man as a privilege, but rather as a responsibility. So if you know you're being contested by 6 other women, it is wise for you to value and cherish your husband. And of truth, so many women have abused the privilege of marriage and have only succeeded to push their husbands to other women who are able to value and cherish them. In all honesty, a man who is not God-fearing cannot live with a woman who doesn't honor him. A man cannot live with a woman who doesn't respect him. Men have the natural pride in them as the leader of the home. And every attitude coming from your end as a woman that puts down his crown would only send that man running to another woman, looking for respect and honor. And a man who is not God-fearing in all honesty will do it boldly to your face. So a man should be the head of the home and his position stays as that. As a woman, you should submit to your husband. In every man, there are 2 attributes, a king and a beast. If you treat him as a king and you act as his queen, you're going to enjoy your marriage and you're going to get the kingly attributes coming from him. And if you disrespect this man and dishonor this man, you would only succeed to wake up the beast in him. As a woman, if you must revive your marriage, your value for your husband must change. If you must bring back your husband home, you have to show great value for this man. This is what the other woman has used for so long, and they have employed tactics to keep these men to themselves. They have even gone as far as providing services for these men. Services such as preparing their meals on time, washing their clothes and ironing them. And for so long, the married woman may have neglected these duties to her husband, leaving these chores for either the maid or the children to handle. So if you must take back your husband, you must show great value for this man. And in some cases, the other women have used the aspect of using sweet words on their husband. When last did you say something nice to your husband? The second principle we must look at is the principle of giving. Nothing moves a man more than what a woman can offer. Gone are the times when a woman has to become a liability. It is dangerous for a woman to be a liability in her home. Time and age comes with evolution, and for every new time, there comes new attributes. Gone are the days when the woman's place was in the kitchen. The woman should be able in the 21st century to offer something in her home. She should be able to contribute. She should be able to be the helpmate of the husband. The value for a woman diminishes when she becomes a liability in her home. Peace in the home is determined by what the woman can offer. Peace is the greatest gift a woman can give to her husband. It is wise for a woman to create an atmosphere that breeds love in the marriage. There is no love without peace. And as a woman, you cannot enjoy your marriage if there are issues you're unable to settle with your husband. And this is where the other woman gets it right, because she settles every distraction that serves as a stumbling ground or a problem or hindrance for the love she shares with the man in their relationship. As a woman, you should remember that you are supposed to be the oil in your home. You're supposed to be the one who releases or helps to reduce the friction in your home, not drag shoulders with your husband. It takes social maturity for a woman to be able to know how to transform her husband from an angry man to a laughing man. Another point under the principles of giving is the aspect of giving gifts. Gifts is the easiest way to get to a man's heart. Every man is moved by a gift. It is easy for a woman to attract favors from her husband. Even the Bible says in Proverbs 18:16 that your gifts shall make room for you. And this is what the other woman has used for so long. The principle of giving gifts to attract the man she desires to herself. The third principle is the principle of taking initiative. As married women, we tend to make the mistake of always allowing our husbands to make the first moves towards us. The irony is, while we are waiting on our husbands to make the first move, they too are expecting us to make the first move. It's easy for a woman to complain that her husband isn't communicating with her or doesn't talk to her when he gets back to the house. It's your place to make this man comfortable enough, or make the home comfortable enough for you and your husband to have such conversations. You can approach him humbly and politely and engage him in a conversation or dialogue, and amongst within that period, rather, both of you are able to communicate intimately. Another woman may complain that over the years their sex life has died down. It is your place as a woman to bring in the fantasy and excitement in the bedroom. So it is up to you to make the first move to bring back that excitement and that spark. As a woman, you should be able to maintain that spark in your marriage for as long as you can, until your very last breath, unless you want your husband going about searching for the other woman. The fourth principle is the principle of cleanliness. No man admires an unclean environment, and nothing attracts like a clean environment. Whether as a single lady or a married woman, it is wise for you to keep your home clean and attractive. Unfortunately, the most disorganized places these days is the homes of so many women, especially married women. As a woman, you should be able to put your home in order, and by the virtue of marriage comes with the expectation that a woman is supposed to be able to transform a dirty man to a clean man. She should be able to transform a disorganized man to an organized man. It is not natural for a woman to be dirty. It is wise for a woman to practice personal hygiene, and not only the hygiene or keeping the condition of the house clean, but your personal hygiene. It's unfair for a woman, or unwise for a woman, to stay for a whole day without taking her shower. How do you attract your husband? By keeping your body dirty. Please, as women or married women, we should take our personal hygiene seriously and practice it diligently. The fifth principle is the principle of love play. Love play happens to be a very important factor in every marriage or every relationship. If not handled carefully, may lead to great disaster. As married women, we tend to take these aspects for granted, and we most often do not indulge in any form of romantic play with our husbands. And for so long, this is what the other woman has used to cement her relationship with her man, because she's able to have fun times, or fun moments rather, with this man. So as a married woman, we should be able to be free with our husbands and not be ashamed. There shouldn't be any form of shame between us or our husbands, because even God has no rule for love play between a married man and his wife. But a woman who is unconcerned about this is pushing her husband. A man who is not God-fearing would be quick to look for an alternative relationship where the person can be able to satisfy him, his needs. And free women, or rather the other woman, will be ready to satisfy and provide the attention this man needs. So sad to think that these days women use sexual abstinence as a means to punish their husbands for grievances against their husbands. This is not right. It is absolutely wrong. You are only attracting destruction to your home. Grievances should be shared on settled grounds, and with dialogue come to a compromise, and not using sexual abstinence as a means to punish your husband for whatever offense or grievances you have against him. Now let's go deep into certain perceptions people have about women losing their husbands, and not leaving out the reality of the topic and the way forward for me.